Your thumb hovers over the screen in the dark. The blue light burns into your retinas. It has been 4 hours since you sent that last message. 4 hours of silence. You check the read receipt. She saw it. She just did not care. Now you are doing what every self-help guru told you to do. You are going silent. You are putting the phone down. You are waiting for her to miss you. But here is the brutal truth you are not ready to hear. This silence is not a weapon. It is a leash. You are not practicing Stoicism. You are practicing a performance. You are waiting. And as long as you are waiting, she still owns you. Welcome to the digital ghosting trap, a place where men lose their dignity while trying to win a game they already lost. Most men think silence is about the words you do not say. They think if they just stop texting, the power will shift. They think her curiosity will outweigh her indifference. They are wrong. Dead wrong. True silence does not happen on your screen. It happens in your soul. If you are staring at your phone waiting for a vibration, you're not silent. Your mind is screaming. Your ego is begging. Your frame is shattered. This video is not about a trick to get her back. It is about the psychological shift that makes her irrelevant. We are going to deconstruct the lie of the no contact rule. We are going to look at why your current silence is making you look weak, not strong. And by the end of this, you will understand the one thing Marcus Aurelius knew that modern men have forgotten: the power to be truly absent. Because right now, you are not absent. You are just a man hiding behind a locked screen. Very loud, very desperate, very predictable. Silence is not for punishing her. Silence is not for winning her back. Silence is not for playing games. Silence is for finding the man you buried under a mountain of validation seeking. If you are ready to stop performing and start becoming, stay with me. But I warn you, what I am about to show you will destroy the comfort of your victimhood. Let us look at the first crack in your armor. Silence is not a vacuum. It is a frequency. Most men believe that by simply stopping the flow of words, they have created a wall. They think they have become a mystery. But if your heart is still racing every time you hear a notification chime from someone else, then your wall is made of glass. She can see right through it. Women have a biological radar for emotional congruence. They do not just listen to what you say. They feel the intent behind what you do not say. If you are silent because you want her to text you, then your silence is just a loud scream for attention. It is a demand disguised as a retreat. And she can smell that desperation from miles away. It smells like fear. It smells like a man who has no other options. It smells like a man who is trying to manipulate a result instead of mastering his own soul. This is the anatomy of weak silence. You sit in your room and you tell yourself you are being a Stoic. You read the quotes of Marcus Aurelius while your eyes keep darting to the top of your phone screen to see if she is online. You are performing. You are an actor on a stage with an audience of one, and she is not clapping. Every hour that passes without a reply feels like a physical weight on your chest. Your breathing is shallow. Your palms are slightly damp. You are not experiencing peace. You are experiencing a self-imposed prison. The Stoics called this being a slave to your impressions. You have given her the keys to your internal fortress, and now you are standing outside in the cold, waiting for her to let you back in. This is not power. This is a hostage situation where you are both the victim and the guard. True power does not come from the absence of noise. It comes from the absence of need. There is a massive difference between a man who is not talking because he is busy building a world and a man who is not talking because he is waiting for a reaction. One is a king. The other is a beggar in a suit of armor. When you use silence as a tactic, you're still playing her game. You're still centered on her reality. Your world is still rotating around her axis. A Stoic man is his own center of gravity. He does not go silent to make her feel something. He goes silent because he has nothing more to say to someone who does not value his presence. His silence is a natural consequence of his self-respect, not a strategic move in a chess game. Think about the message you are sending when you wait exactly 3 days to reply. You think you look disciplined. She sees a man who spent 3 days thinking about a timestamp. You think you look detached. She sees a man who is terrified of looking too eager. The moment you calculate your behavior, you have already lost. Calculation is the language of the insecure. The truly detached man does not calculate because he does not care about the outcome. He is not trying to trigger her anxiety or her curiosity. He is simply occupied with things that matter more than a conversation that has reached its end. He is focusing on his craft, his body, his mind, his purpose. This is the shift from performance to presence. But how do you actually make that shift when the urge to reach out is tearing you apart? How do you stop the internal screaming that happens in the middle of the night? That is where the real work begins, and most men fail exactly at this point. They fail because they do not understand the mechanics of the void. They try to fill the silence with ghost versions of her instead of the reality of themselves. If you want to know how to transform this agonizing weight into an unshakable frame, you must first understand the concept of the Stoic reframe. You must learn to look at the empty space not as a loss, but as the only place where your true self can finally breathe. Marcus Aurelius once wrote that you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. He was the emperor of the known world. He had thousands of people screaming for his attention. He did not have a smartphone in his pocket, but he had the weight of an empire on his shoulders. When he chose to be silent, it was not a game. It was a necessity for his soul. You need to understand that your current silence is a lie because it is still focused on an outside event. You are waiting for her to change. You are waiting for the world to give you a sign. That is not Stoicism. That is just a delayed form of begging. Let us reframe the void. Most men see the empty space in their inbox as a wound. They see the lack of engagement as a loss of value. This is your first mistake. Your presence is not a commodity to be sold. Your presence is a gift to be earned. If someone does not value that gift, you do not keep offering it in smaller and smaller packages. You take it off the market entirely. You move it into a private vault where only you have the key. This is the mastery of presence. It is the realization that your internal state is independent of whether a specific person chooses to acknowledge you or not. Think about the air in a room. You do not notice it until it is gone. But the air does not care if you notice it. It simply exists. It fulfills its purpose regardless of your appreciation. This is the energy you must cultivate. You're not going silent to be noticed. You are going silent to be felt. There is a massive psychological difference between a man who is hiding and a man who has simply moved on to higher ground. When you hide, you are still looking back over your shoulder. When you move to higher ground, you're looking at the horizon. You are focused on the climb. You're focused on the oxygen. Stop calling it the no contact rule. Rules are for children. Instead, call it the period of self-reclamation. You are taking back the pieces of your identity that you scattered at her feet. You are picking up your dignity from the floor. You are cleaning the dust off your ambitions. Every time you resist the urge to check her profile, you are winning a battle in a war for your own mind. This is where the physical shift happens. Your breathing starts to settle. Your heart rate slows down. You stop living in a state of high alert. You begin to occupy your own skin again. Imagine a mountain. The mountain does not move when the wind blows. It does not chase the clouds when they drift away. It remains. It is stoic. It is immovable. If the clouds want to see the peak, they must rise to meet it. The peak does not descend into the fog to explain its value. Your value is the peak. Her attention is the fog. Most men spend their lives running into the fog and wondering why they feel lost. They are trying to find their reflection in a cloud. It is impossible. You will only find your reflection in the solid rock of your own character. This reframe changes everything. You are no longer the rejected party waiting for a second chance. You are the sovereign individual who has closed a door that led to a dead end. You are not in a waiting room. You are in a laboratory. You are experimenting with the limits of your own discipline. You're testing how much power you can generate when you stop leaking energy into a black hole of validation. And once you reach this level of internal stability, something strange starts to happen. A paradox begins to form. The very thing you stopped chasing begins to feel the vacuum you left behind. But there is a hidden danger in this transition. If you handle the next phase wrong, you will lose everything you just built. Let us talk about the vacuum. Nature abhors a vacuum. When you remove yourself from a situation entirely, something must rush in to fill the space. But here is where most men fail. They leave the room, but they leave their shadow behind. They are physically gone, but their emotional weight is still leaning against the door. They are checking stories from burner accounts. They are asking mutual friends about her. They are posting photos to prove they are happy. This is not a vacuum. This is a broadcast. You are just screaming in a different frequency. The power paradox is simple. You only gain the power to influence the situation when you lose the desire to control it. If you are being silent to make her curious, you are still under her control. You are acting in response to her existence. You are a puppet, and the string is just a bit longer than before. But the moment you truly stop caring about her curiosity, the strings snap. The vacuum is finally created. The air leaves the room. And that is when the psychological pressure shifts from you to her. When a woman feels that a man is truly gone, she does not feel curious. She feels a loss of gravity. Humans are wired to seek equilibrium. When you were chasing, you provided a constant source of validation. You were the floor beneath her feet. When you go silent as a tactic, she knows the floor is still there. She knows she can step back on it whenever she wants. But when you go silent as a way of life, the floor disappears. She is falling. And in that free fall, her mind will scramble to find the person who once held her up. This is not manipulation. This is the physics of human interaction. But here is the danger. Many men reach this point and they think they have won. They get a text, they see a like, they hear a rumor that she is asking about them. And like a starving dog, they run back to the scraps. They break the silence for a crumb of attention. And in that single moment of weakness, the vacuum is destroyed. The pressure is gone. She breathes a sigh of relief because she realizes you were just playing a game. You were just holding your breath to see how long she would watch. You were never a mountain. You were just a child holding his breath until his face turned blue. Stoicism teaches us that the prize is not the reaction. The prize is the man who no longer needs the reaction. If you use your silence to bait her, you have wasted your time. You have spent weeks building a fortress only to burn it down for a single notification. You must understand that the silence of a king is different from the silence of a ghost. A ghost is haunting the past. A king is busy ruling the present. He does not look back to see who is following. He moves with purpose, and the world has no choice but to adjust to his pace. You must become the vacuum. You must become the man who can walk away from a burning building without looking back at the flames. This requires a level of internal coldness that most men are too afraid to cultivate. They are afraid that if they truly let go, she will forget them forever. And maybe she will. But if you are afraid of being forgotten, you are already a slave. The only thing you should fear is forgetting yourself. The only thing you should fear is losing the man who was meant to build an empire while you were busy staring at a piece of glass. Now, we are approaching the final gate. You have learned why your silence was weak. You have learned the reframe of the mountain. You have seen the paradox of power. But there is one final piece to this puzzle. It is the secret that turns a temporary silence into a permanent state of mastery. It is the reason why some men are never replaced and why others are forgotten before the sun goes down. If you want to know how to become the prize, stay with me for the final transition. The secret is simple. You have to stop being the one who looks at the door and start being the person worth opening the door for. Most men spend their time polishing their chains. They want to be better slaves, better manipulators, better actors. You are different. You are a builder. You are a creator. You are a Stoic. You are no longer interested in the shadow of the mountain. You are interested in the rock itself. The prize is not her text. The prize is not her attention. The prize is not her return. The prize is the man you see in the mirror when you are no longer afraid of the dark. The man who can stand in the middle of a storm and feel nothing but the rhythm of his own heart. This is the ultimate sovereignty. This is the state where your presence is a privilege and your absence is a lesson. You have two choices now. You can go back to the screen. You can check the notifications. You can resume your role as the beggar. Or you can drop the phone and walk into the world. If this message hit home, hit the like button so the algorithm knows who we are looking for. Subscribe if you are ready to build. But remember, the silence is not the end. It is the beginning. The void is waiting for you. What will you build inside it? The answer is not in this video. The answer is in the next 10 minutes of your life. Do not wait for a sign. You are the sign. Drop the phone. Now.